Hello everyone and welcome back to Hanging with Alexx. So in today's video I thought I would talk about my March TBR. So for those of you who don't know, I am taking part in a reading challenge on Goodreads called Around the Year in 52 Books. And the idea of this reading challenge is there is 52 prompts and you read a book for each prompt. So you should be reading about a book a week. I have been taking part in this for a couple of years, but I haven't completed it yet. So fingers crossed 2021 is a year that I do. I've decided to go about it in a bit of a different way this year. So previously I was just sort of reading it in prompt order, so prompt 1, prompt 2, etc. Depending on the availability of the books from the library. But this year I've decided to randomly pick prompts out of a jar and then read books according to those prompts, which I've been really enjoying. It's allowed me to read a little bit more, be a bit more of a mood reader, I guess, in a way, especially because I don't choose the books. Like, I haven't chosen any of the books that I'm going to read for the prompts yet, if that makes sense. Anyway, I thought I'd go about it a little bit differently in March because I'm also taking part in the Mean Girls Readathon, which is on Instagram. So I'll link that down below, but the idea of this readathon is there are 3 teams. So I am on Team Gretchen. Each team has 4 prompts related to Mean Girls. So you pick a book for each prompt. And of course, it sounded like fun. Everyone on Bookstagram is doing it and I can make it fit in with my actual reading challenge. So I have already chosen my books, which is why I'm not picking the prompts out of the jar. But let's get on to that. So for the first book of Team Gretchen for the Mean Girls Readathon, the first prompt is, she doesn't even go here, and you're meant to read a genre that you wouldn't normally read. I have picked a book club book, so this is a new book club that I'm part of. We don't actually have a name, it's our first month, and we are reading A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This book is a fantasy book, so it's not really a genre I normally read. I'm much more of like a crime, thriller, mystery sort of person. And I have made it fit with the Around the Year reading challenge for prompt 14, which is a book set in a made-up place. So I don't know much about this book. I know it's set in London, but I believe it's set in like alternate realities of London. So I think I read on the blurb that there's like red London, black London, blue London, white London, something like that. So I'm making it count because, I mean, really there's only, as far as I'm aware, there's only one London. So kind of counts. And I will be borrowing that from the library and reading it on my iPad. I was going to say my Kindle, it's not my Kindle, on my iPad. So I think that book, I think I'm next in line for the book, so I'll get onto that soon. The next prompt for Team Gretchen is Jingle Bell Rock, and for that you need to read a book that you meant to read in 2020 but didn't. I've chosen to read Room by Emma Donoghue. This has been on my TBR for years. To be honest, I think I'm meant to be reading this for, like, it's been part of my challenge for about 4 years now. I've never gotten around to it, so excited to finally be getting onto that one. And I am reading that for prompt 7, which is a book that fits a prompt suggestion that didn't make the final list, which is, it's a bit confusing. So for that prompt, I've chosen one of the reject prompts of a book you meant to read in 2020 as well. So it's basically the same prompt, and I'm reading this. I've not even watched the movie. I remember my friend saying that the book was a little bit weird when we watched the trailer when I was in uni. I know it's about a woman who has been kidnapped, I believe, and then she has a child and eventually they get out of the room they're in, but I don't entirely know, so I could be talking complete rubbish. But excited to read that, finally. Prompt number 3 for Team Gretchen is ex-boyfriends are off limits as friends. That's like the rules of feminism. And for that, it's a book with a strong female character. So I am going to be reading Kim Jo-young, born 1982, by Cho-nam. This is the March pick for the London Book Friends Book Club. So that's what I'm reading, and it fits my Around the Year for prompt I'm looking at my cheat sheet because I don't know. So it fits prompt 8, a book set in a state, province or country you have never visited. So I believe it's set in South Korea. I've never gone to South Korea. Really excited to read it. Again, it's another book borrowed from the library. I've actually got it borrowed right now, so I'll be getting onto that as soon as I can. I know it's quite a nice short book, so I'm excited to read that. And then finally, the 4th prompt for Team Gretchen is, it's not my fault you're in love with me or something. And for that, it's to read a romance book or an enemies to lover trope. I've chosen to read To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. Absolutely love the movie, as cringy as it is. I've not watched the 3rd one, but I thought it was finally time that I read the book. I need something a bit light-hearted, and that fits my around the year for prompt 6, a love story. So yeah, so those are the 4 books that I plan on reading for the Mean Girls Readathon for Team Gretchen. Also fits in with my normal reading challenge. Well done if you managed to follow along with that, because I'm a little bit confused in my own head there. On top of that, I'm reading a book for prompt 12, which is a book eligible for the Warwick Prize for Women in Translation. I started this back in February but never managed to finish it, and I'm reading Abigail by Magda Szabo, originally written in Hungarian, and I believe it was translated into English in 2020, so last year. Really enjoying it. I'm almost at the end. It's a historical fiction, which I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did, but I honestly find that I can't put it down, so hoping to finish that soon. And then on top of that, still going along with my War and Peace, which I'm reading on my Kindle for prompt 30, I think it is, a long book. I've just finished book 2. I am about 14 chapters behind, but I'm hoping I can catch up. I'm desperate to finish it this year. The first year I did it, I probably got to about May before giving up. And last year I didn't even get finished January, so I'm further along than I was last year, but I've still not gotten as far as I did the first time, but hoping that I'll finish it this year. Yeah, so there we have it. So those are my books for this month. Hopefully I can finish it. I think 2 of the books I've chosen are quite short, so hopefully I can get them quickly read. Yeah, and I'll come back end of March with my wrap-up post. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you next time, whenever that is.